Hello, HawkRadio. This is Emily. Welcome to my show, my new show. A few of you might remember me from Yeet Deets, that old show, that old show from Tuesdays in the mornings with Nick and Jesse and Evan. But now I have my own show, and I think I'm gonna tentatively call it Emily's Playhouse.
Emily's Playhouse. You should get like a whole introduction for that.
Right? I should. It's an homage to Pee-wee's Playhouse, which I watched. I binge watched in January. So
nice.
So basically, what we're gonna talk about. This is Dez, by the way. He's joining me today.
Hey guys.
But basically, what we're gonna talk about on this show is I'm gonna have one segment for like movies and stuff because I'm a pop culture geek and I could talk about that for forever.
Who couldn't, man? That's life right there.
Right. So the first segment is probably going to be movies and stuff, and then the second segment's probably going to be like television and cartoons and all that stuff I like, and then music for the last segment. So right up your alley?
Break out the popcorn. Let's get it.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about, I call this is episode 1. I call it An Abundance of Roberts.
An abundance of Roberts.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to start out after this music break. We're going to start out talking about how I just started watching the Marvel movies after Infinity War came out. I was motivated, 10 years late, but
I'm glad you decided to do that.
I decided to finally watch the Marvel movies, and I found that watching Iron Man 2, which is the third one that came out, Howard Stark, Tony Stark's dad, has a lot of similarities to Walt Disney, and I want to discuss those. And
he's also in Captain America, the first Avenger.
He is, but he's really young. We'll go into that in a second. And then the second segment, I'm going to talk a little bit about Rob Paulsen. I'm going to try to maybe talk about a new voice actor every week. So I'm going to start out with my favorite, Rob Paulsen. And after that, we're going to talk about meatloaf because I love meatloaf. And yeah,
who doesn't love meatloaf? Meatloaf
right?
Bomb,
That's what I'm saying. Nobody on Yeet Deets appreciated my love of meatloaf, but he has a musical out across the pond, and it's doing really well, I guess. So I want to kind of talk about that. And we got a ton of good music coming up, and so stay tuned, me and Dez.
It's going to be awesome, guys.
Yeah, we'll be right back. All right, that was For Emily, Wherever I May Find Her, to kick off my new show.
It's funny that your name's in the title.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anywho,
so this first segment, we're going to talk about Iron Man 2 and Howard Stark, since I just found my new love of Marvel movies. I had a lot to say about it. I'm trying to get my mom to watch it, and she's on Thor now.
So far, which Marvel movie is your favorite?
Okay, I just finished phase 1, and so that's like 5 movies, right? 6. I really like the Hulk as a character. I don't know if the movie is my favorite, because I like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in Avengers. Mm-hmm. I like him a lot better than Edward Norton. But
that one I gotta disagree with you,
really?
Though. I think Edward Norton was a pretty good Hulk.
It reminded me a lot of Fight Club, that movie, and I loved the motion capture. I'm gonna talk about that next week. I really like the motion capture effects they did, because they used a different style of motion capture,
and they made the Hulk look more like the actual Hulk,
exactly
in Avengers and whatnot. He looked like he didn't really. He looked like a smaller version, like Hulk's little brother.
They gave him body hair.
Yeah, and it's like compared from Avengers Hulk to the Incredible Hulk. Those two compared, it's like Hulk has a little brother, mm-hmm. and they're both, just chilling. Mm-hmm. I prefer Edward Norton.
I don't know why everybody hates that movie. It's everybody's least favorite Marvel movie. And
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I
mean, they've gotten better. Obviously, that was only the second movie, and right. They're coming right out of Iron Man, and Iron Man 2 follows it. So and
then that's when the cutscene started becoming a thing.
Yeah, I kind of get it, but as itself, it's a really I liked it as a movie. It wasn't awful. I've seen worse movies.
Yeah, there are worse Marvel movies.
Anyway, in Iron Man 2, speaking of Marvel movies, it's a lot of daddy issues. Let's
Tony Stark has plenty of daddy issues.
Describe it like that. Yes, he does.
Oh, wait till you get to the Captain America Civil War. That's a doozy.
Oh, spoiler alert. I'm not there yet. I've seen it in theaters, but I'm not there yet. Anyway, Howard Stark is his dad. He's like the the leader of Stark. What is the name?
Stark Industries.
Industries. I don't know why I wanted to say Enterprises. Stark Industries. And I was watching it, and like he reminded me a lot of Walt Disney. And I know this is kind of like 8 years too late, but but to have this discussion. But I wanted to know if anybody else like noticed that, because
you know what you should do. You should take a poll like on like Instagram. That's what I did with like there were these special jeans that I found and I posted and I was like, ladies, would you wear this? And I took the poll and whatnot. So you should put that on like Instagram or like wherever.
I was thinking about it.
Totally should.
So some of the similarities besides looks, I mean, he has that like weird little mustache.
His face is kind of plump.
When he's presenting the plot of the expo, Stark Expo, it's like laid out a lot like the World Fair in 1964, which is where Walt Disney went to like pitch all these ideas for like Small World and Carousel of Progress and all that stuff. So I thought,
in case you guys didn't know, she's got pictures and a whole article.
Oh yeah, I do. There's a whole thing. Doesn't that look like where they were in the movie? The globe?
Yeah, I could see the similarities. Totally, yeah.
Yeah, that's the New York Pavilion, and that's the Unisphere. But also, what else? When he's pitching it, he's pitching it kind of like Walt Disney did, like the actual physically pitching it. He's pitching it kind of like Walt Disney pitched Epcot, like the world of tomorrow and everything, you know? So
well, it maybe that whole performance was inspired by how Walt Disney pitched that. You know, you never know, because you may be like that would be something to look into. Like you go on like find an article, and you're like, oh, he actually did, you know, mirror his pitch off of Walt Disney. That's
what they have to. There has, I don't know. I don't think it's just a coincidence, but yeah, I thought it was really cool. I had something else to say. Freaking Epcot. Richard Sherman had a song that was playing in the beginning, and the Sherman brothers obviously wrote all the music for like the Figment ride and Mary Poppins.
Total coincidence.
But that's what I was gonna say. This was right 6 months before they were saying in this article. This was like 6 months right before Marvel or Disney bought Marvel, and not a lot of people, like, it was kind of like shocking. Like, not a lot of people, like maybe 6 people from Disney and 6 people from Marvel knew that they were going to do that. So I mean, I don't know how the director of this movie, Jon Favreau, I don't know how he would have known and like said, hey, let's make this character.
Yeah, like Disney owns everything now.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, honestly, it could, you know, there may be, I'm pretty sure there is a correlation between, you know, Disney buying Marvel and then the whole Stark Expo.
His daddy is Walt Disney.
Yeah, I mean, that would be something to look into.
If it is true, then that is very, like, that's a lot of symbolism there. That's, I don't know. Do you think
maybe they were trying to hint at the fact that Marvel was going to be bought by
That's
Disney.
What I'm saying. Like, I don't think a lot of people knew. So I mean, if it is a coincidence, then it's wild.
Yeah, but that would be pretty cool though. They're like, okay, you guys, we're gonna feature this in the movie. Just don't tell anybody about it.
That's Marvel for you, I guess.
They just go off the top with everything.
Yeah. So we're gonna take another music break.
See the guy from Ratatouille.
Oh yeah. That's The Incredibles.
Incredibles, my bad. I just saw a Pixar character.
I was going to use it for a bit, but never mind. So, it's my first show. Give me a break.
Hey,
so
no judgment.
This is Iron Man by Black Sabbath. I figured it would be fitting, so enjoy. Welcome back to Emily's Playhouse is, I guess, what I'm going with here.
Emily's Playhouse.
Emily's Playhouse. Well, I don't know. It sounds kind of creepy.
The name is, it's to be determined.
I like Emily's Playhouse, but in homage to Pee Wee Herman, skinny legend. Anyway, we're going to talk about going from Robert Downey Jr. to Robert Paulsen. We're going to talk about Rob Paulsen, who is a voice actor. I'm going to try to talk about one voice actor every week, I think, or one cartoon every week. And so I wanted to kick it off with Rob Paulsen, who is God tier, in my opinion.
He's on that next level stuff, y'all.
He is. So Rob Paulsen, what was I going to start? I was going to start off with when I met him. I met him in person when I was about 14. I was 14.
Dude, can I have your life?
Right?
Honestly.
But he was like the first like celebrity I actually like wanted to meet and then met, and I never thought I would, for real. Like I was like, oh, this is guy on TV and the cartoons that I like, I'm never gonna meet him. And then like a couple months later it was like, oh, he's coming to Orlando, now's my chance. And I did, and he's just the nicest guy ever.
Lucky you.
Super humble, and he's great. And so I got his bio here from his website. He was from Detroit. He loved hockey and cartoons, and he wanted to be a hockey player, but you know, I guess he got hit in the mouth a lot. So he figured, oh, I can't make a living doing this. But so he started doing cartoons. He was a singer first, and then he became an actor. And yeah. So
oh man, he's done a lot of cartoons.
Are you on his IMDb right now?
Yeah, I looked him up on Google.
Yeah, he has about like at least 2,000 different half-hour.
Animaniacs, Peaky and the Brain, Jimmy Neutron, Danny Phantom, Fairly Odd Parents.
That's him.
Holy crap.
Oh my god, I should play Redbone, but I should play his version of Redbone. Is that appropriate? I don't think it is. There's a video going around on the internet of Carl Weezer. I don't think it's Rob, but it's Carl Weezer, this guy doing an impression, and he's singing Redbone, and it's better than Childish Gambino's version, I swear.
I gotta hear it.
I'll play it during the break. So
yeah, he's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's the real deal. And so yeah, let's go through famous roles. He was Yakko from Animaniacs. Famous for that song Yakko's World, the Nations of the World song, where he sings every country in their capital. I sung that with him. He came to Orlando another time. This was like the second time I met him, and I sung that with him. And so
how are you able to do this? I need you to put me in contact with some people. Honestly,
I just go to a bunch of conventions and spend money, dude. I stalk. No,
I've always wanted to go to. I've never been to like a convention. Like that's on
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's on the bucket list.
It's gotten a lot better than it has been in years past. I think it's really good. They got a bunch of good people that come.
It's always on my to-do list to go.
Orlando's the big one in MegaCon or in Orlando, and I have a bunch of other, like if you're into anime, they have a bunch of other ones, I think. But yeah, it's no San Diego Comic-Con, but it's nice.
Something's better than nothing, right?
Yeah. So they got a lot of voice actors coming, so that's what I do. I go through and I met a bunch of voice actors. So famous.
Well, next time you go, let me know.
I will.
I'm buying my ticket.
I think Pee Wee Herman's coming to Orlando, and I think Charlie Adler. Charlie Adler is Buster Bunny from Tiny Toon Adventures. He is like everybody on Cow and Chicken, that show on Cartoon Network. You know him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally going.
You know him. He was that one Ickis from Our Real Monsters.
Send me the
Purple
deets.
guy. He's coming to Tampa, I think, soon. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna try to meet him.
See, me personally, if I meet like certain voice actors and certain wrestlers, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, they come. They're here. You gotta know when and who.
Gotta figure
Rob
that stuff
Paulsen
out.
is the guy to meet. He is literally the nicest ever. He has his own podcast called Talkin' Tunes. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it started out I forget where, like maybe I think it was just like on like iTunes maybe, and then he moved to like doing video, and then he did it live for a little bit. It's gone through a bunch of different iterations over the years, but it's the same format. He talks to like different voice actors, and it's really informative about how they got started, their story. Speaking
of, there was I saw this video on Facebook where this guy who voiced Green Lantern from Justice League, Hermes from Futurama, Static Shock. Yeah.
Phil Lamar.
We should talk about him next week.
Talk about Phil Lamar. He's good. He plays Bulby on Jimmy Neutron.
Yep.
Slap.
Oh my goodness.
Slap. That's my favorite character.
Oh, totally.
Anyway, but yeah, his podcast it's currently on under the Nerdist Industries or whatever. And so he does that. He does it. I think you have to pay to like watch it, but I think they're all like on iTunes to listen to.
That's what's up.
It's the coolest podcast ever. There's like hundreds of episodes and super informative, and I don't know, they're just cool people. He also just more about him. He was diagnosed with cancer in his throat not too long ago, but it's in remission now. It's like stage 3. So he's a trooper. He's the real deal. I'm telling you.
Man, that must suck, yo. Like
he kind of kept it private. Like nobody knew until like after it was in remission. He didn't want anybody to know. Everybody's like, "Oh, why did you stop doing this? Why did you stop doing your podcast? Like, what's going on?" And then he told everybody like a year later, and he
that's
was
like his whole life.
This is what's going on. Yeah, exactly. It's like that's what he does for a living. So it's
yeah,
like,
man, that must be terrible.
If something goes wrong, it's like, what are you gonna do now? But thankfully it's in remission now. So, and he's doing really well. He's like advocating for like, you know, people who have that kind of thing, and it's just he literally, I can't even stress that enough. He's the nicest guy ever, and oh god, I miss him. I haven't seen him in a couple years, but he's touring. He's also touring with Randy Rogel, who wrote all the music for Animaniacs. I don't know if you've seen Animaniacs, but it has like orchestral, like huge songs. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They're all pretty educational songs too. Like they're obviously the nations of the world and the states and their capitals, and you know, what else? There's a bunch, and they're all really educational. And he's touring. He got the rights to from Steven Spielberg, and he's touring with I think sometimes he performs with an orchestra, but I think it's just usually just Randy Rogel, maybe the other Warners and Maurice LaMarche if he's lucky. But he's touring and singing the songs all over the country. And
see, now I'm gonna go home and like try to watch all the things that he's voice acted.
Do it, because once you hear his voice, you can't unhear it. Like, I'm serious. I've been following him since I was like 14, and it's like, oh, that's Rob. Like, I know instantly.
Funny thing, like I saw that he voiced like Jimmy Neutron, and
he
like,
voiced Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron.
Carl's my favorite, but it's like every time I go like eat dinner, that's like the only show I'll watch.
Are you going to finish that croissant? That's that's his line. That's his famous line. Oh, also, do you watch Rick and Morty?
Who doesn't?
He Snuffles the dog.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say his line, but that's yeah.
Oh man.
That's
yeah,
him.
honestly, listen, I would not mind being able to talk to my dog just without all like the hostile takeover.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I think I started watching Rick and Morty because of that, because I was following him. And
speaking of, we're getting 70 more episodes.
We are. I hope Rob's in them.
Great.
If anybody from Rick and Morty is listening to this, cast Rob.
Please do. Like have like maybe a whole episode where they go visit Snuffles on their planet.
Yeah.
Try to help them.
We need more Snuffles.
Yes.
Oh my god. I was gonna say something. I forget.
Just make sure you don't call him Snowball, because you don't like that.
Yeah, he doesn't like Snowball. I forgot what I was gonna say. It's probably important. Oh, I was gonna look up Redbone by Carl Weezer. Anyway, that was brain fart. Oh, here it is. Okay, so thank you for joining me for that segment about my favorite voice actor. Here is, I don't think it's Rob singing at all. I don't know, but here is a guy doing an impression of Carl Weezer singing Redbone. So, welcome back to Emily's Playhouse with our special guest, Dez Roman.
Hi, guys.
That was Say Hey, I Love You by, I forget who, Michael Franti and Spearhead. So, speaking of music, going out of Rob Paulsen and going into Rob Paulsen. Have you seen Fight Club? It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Meatloaf plays a character named Rob Paulsen. So that's why I called this episode An Abundance of Roberts. We talked about Robert Downey Jr., Rob Paulsen, and now we're talking about Meatloaf. His name is like Michael or something, but he plays a character named Rob Paulsen.
Cool. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm not educated on this particular. Like, I know a little bit, but I don't know a lot.
He was in Rocky Horror. Have you seen Rocky Horror? Not live.
I've only seen like from what
I do. I do the Rocky Horror Picture Show. In case, I don't know if you guys heard my last show, You Dudes, but
she's a terrible actor. No, I'm just kidding, guys. She's great.
I'm great. I think I'm great. I don't know. I've only been doing it for a year, but Meatloaf's in it. That's why I brought that up. But he is a singer, a rock singer, and he has a musical. That's the latest. He has a musical. It's like, you know how Green Day had a musical? He has a musical now.
Awesome. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to like tie my shoe.
Anyway.
Anywho.
So it's really cool. I don't know. It's over on the West End in like London, Dominion Theatre. And I don't know. I know it has all 3 Bat Out of Hell albums, which are by Meatloaf. He has 3 albums. One that came out in like 1977.
Ooh.
And that was when the first one came out, Bat Out of Hell. And then he had a second one that came out afterwards called Back into Hell. And then the third one's called The Monster Is Loose, which is a really good song. And all, I think there's like 25 songs in this musical.
Holy jeez.
And I think they're all, I don't know if it's every single one off the albums, but they're all from Bad Out of Hell, obviously. And I think it's all of them. There's like 25 here. So, I mean,
that is a lot of music.
Yeah, because I think the first one only has like 7 songs. The first album only has like 7 songs. So that has to be if they all have 7 songs, that has to be all of them and more, right?
Hey, Dez, you want to have your own musical? Heck yeah, you want your own musical. That'd be great. To be totally honest.
The plot of the musical, and I know this because I've listened to the first album before, and I know like the reasoning why he wrote it, why Jim Steinman wrote him. The plot of the musical is basically Peter Pan,
okay,
except kind of dystopian. And I have the summary here. The musical is a loose retelling of Peter Pan and Wendy set in post-apocalyptic Manhattan, now called Obsidian. And it follows Strat, played by, what's his name? Let me find his name. Strat, played by Andrew Pollack, and he's the forever young leader of the Lost. Sound familiar? I'm assuming the Lost is this like motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks like. Yeah. The forever young leader of the Lost, who has fallen in love with Raven, played by Christina Bennington, daughter of Falco, the tyrannical leader of Obsidian.
That does sound really interesting, though. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah. So it's Peter Pan set to Meatloaf's music, and it looks really cool. They don't have any like dates in America that they're coming yet, but as soon as they do, you know I'm gonna be there because I love me some Meatloaf.
Well, when you find that out, let me know because that sounds very awesome.
These names look really, really like ethnic. Strat.
Totally.
Strat. I'm assuming like a guitar. Raven, Falco, Sloan, Tink, Zahara, Jaguar, Lado, and Blake. And but yeah, I have a thing with albums that, like, you know, when you have an album and it's like all the songs kind of fit together to make one story.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Meatloaf's albums are. And
see, those are the best kinds of albums, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know as much about the second one and the third one, but the first one, they're all love songs, you know, and I can see how Peter Pan can fit into them, you know. I can totally see a musical about Peter Pan with these songs.
But I like the apocalyptic world twist on it.
And I follow them on Facebook, and they have a bunch of like what do you call it when the videos are like really fast, like not stop motion, time lapse.
Yeah,
they have a bunch of time lapse videos of them like building the set, and it looks really cool. Like, I've seen hardly any, aside from the title song, videos of the actual show. But it looks, I don't know how they move the set, but it looks really cool. I'm obsessed with that kind of stuff.
Honestly, like, okay, building a set is when like, you know, like concerts come to the arena, it is a lot of...
yeah, you know all about that stuff.
Yeah, because so when the concerts come, so basically the floor is ice. Yeah. So what happens is, like, the day before a concert... I
don't think the floor is ice on here, but go off.
So the floor is ice. So... because, you know, it's ice hockey. Yeah. But so the day before a concert, we have our crew. They come in and they board up the floor. They not board up, but like they take everything hockey related out and like put it aside, and then they put these coverings over the ice, and then like it's a big oval. So outside the oval, they have like these wood pieces that they place to make it like the floor kind of even, and then they have like stage bases and whatnot. So they build the stage according to. I'm
going to see Panic at the Disco, so.
Nice.
Explain how they.
Yeah, so you know we'll build the stage according to how they pictured it, and then like the day of, you'll see like all the like, I guess stage hands. They'll make markings on like the board. They'll use chalk and whatever to get their dimensions right and line everything up. And like they'll have the stage and it's a pretty. It seems like it starts out slow, but like as time goes by, you start to see it come together, and it looks really great. For I forgot the concert they had recently. But basically, it was like a bunch of big light up LED boards, and you could like it was like
James Taylor.
Yeah, James Taylor.
My dad was working on it.
Yeah. So they had like it was kind of like you ever see those kind of like fireworks? They kind of look like sparklers, but they're like kind of falling. Yeah. Basically, that's what they were showing on all those big LED boards.
Nice.
And they had like a starry background to them too. It was great.
See, the whole behind the scenes is a whole production in itself. That's
Exactly.
cool. I don't know what all props they have in this show. I really, because it's different. It's over in London, so it's kind of, I don't know.
See, their arenas may be bigger, they may be smaller,
Yeah.
it may be a whole outdoor thing.
They
you
have
don't
their
know.
own theater right now. Their like home theater is the Dominion Theater, and they've been there since April. Like that's where they perform instead of touring. That's kind of where they're at now, which is kind of cool. Good for them. But also, I want them to come to like Straz or something, America, and I want to see this show really bad.
That sounds like a fun experience. Not even gonna lie to you.
I've heard. I mean, I've heard some really good things about it. Like the people who've seen it, but also it's not a show. It's a show. It's not a show. It's like. It's a music, you know what I mean?
It's a performance.
Like the only thing that comes to mind is Green Day. Like that was like a show set to Green Day's music. This is a show set to Meatloaf's music. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's not like a show tunes and all that stuff. This is rock music.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
And it's not. I don't think people go expect like a Meatloaf concert. Like he's not there. Obviously, it's other people singing his music, but Peter Pan.
I see where you're going with that, but I mean, I hope that when people go, they're not like disappointed by the fact that there are people singing his music.
No,
but I mean, overall,
I'm sure Meatloaf has some good fans, I guess.
Yeah.
Speaking of Meatloaf music, I got a song right here by him. This is not the musical version. This is him, straight up. So
hit it.
Let's do it, and when we get back, we're gonna do our sign off. So stay tuned. That was 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad by Meatloaf from the album Bad Out of Hell. Also from the musical, I guess. I hope it's in the musical. Where'd my paper go? Let's see what all the songs that are in here. What number is 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad? Number 8 in Act 1. So it's in there.
There you go. Ask and you shall receive.
Next time you're at the Dominion Theater in London, go check out Bad Out of Hell, the musical. So
it's on my to-do list.
Just a moment of reflection here. Today we talked about Howard Stark versus Walt Disney and their similarities and differences. We talked about Rob Paulsen and how awesome he is. And we talked about Bad Out of Hell, the musical. And so I think it was a successful first show to kick off my new show, Emily's Playhouse. Thank you, Dez, for
Of course,
joining me.
anytime, guys. By the way, you can listen to Roman's World with me, Roman the King, Fridays at 11.
Right before my show.
Right before her show.
We're tag teaming here.
Yes.
So yeah, check out my show. I think it's called The Emily Show under my archive, but I'm going to call it Emily's Playhouse because it's my show and I'm producing it, so I do what I want.
Boom. Wear it on your sleeve.
Yeah. So check it out on HawkRadio. I'll post the archive later. And follow me. I'm going to change my 𝘰𝘮𝘠s accounts. I'm going to change it to Emily's Playhouse. So on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So if you're following 𝘰𝘮𝘠s, you're going to be following Emily's Playhouse. So good. Congratulations.
You're already halfway there.
And next week, give me suggestions of what to talk about next week. Some songs. I'm probably going to talk about the Hulk because I'm like Hulk trash right now. Hulk smash, more like Hulk trash. All right.
I like that.
Thank you, Des, for joining me, and thanks for listening, everybody. Tune in next Friday for my show and Dez's show right before mine.
Because why not? It's HawkRadio.premierstream.com.
That's right.
Said it really fast.
So I'm gonna close out here with Victorious by Panic at the Disco. We'll see you next time, guys.